tunable in-ear monitors or earphones. What do you think about that? I did one recently, which was the Astrotech AM850 Mark II with a horrible name, and that had a nozzle filter system where you change the nozzles around to get various sound styles from the IEM. And today I'm looking at a different style, which is one, it's not strange to us, we've done it before. This one has switches on the IEMs, and the object of the subject of the video is the Hidizs MD4. Now this little guy has got 4 balanced armature drivers. It retails at $169. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. That is the box. I won't show you what you get inside, or should I? Yeah, I will. Obviously, you get the IEMs. We'll look at those in a moment. You also get a nice selection of silicone ear tips. You get an earphone cleaning brush, which is also a tool that you use to modify the switch positions on the IEMs, which I'll show you. I'll show you the switches in just a moment. And here is a little card. Oh, you also get a pretty nice carrying case. Very nice one, actually. Hidizs carrying case. But you also get a card that shows you the switch positions and the name of each tuning. And yeah, this is something I like to see. It's nice and clear. No mystery about it. But basically what I'm trying to say is that you get a nice bundle with the IEMs. But let's get right into it now. I'll just pop them off the cable for a minute. So this is the cable that you get. It's a silver plated oxygen free copper cable. It's kind of this rose gold and silver color. It's all very nice, very lightweight, very supple. In terms of handling, the cable is very nice. It doesn't tangle all that much. A little every now and then mostly because of these ear hooks, preformed ear hooks, but I haven't really been frustrated by the cable itself, but it's a nice one. But let's look at the star of the show, and that is the Hidizs MD4, and this is them here. And it comes in 3 different colors. I've got what they call white, which is actually more kind of pink and rose gold and silver color. There's also a blue one, and there's also a black one. There's also a black one. So we've got an aluminium alloy shell. There are the tuning switches right there. You've got 2 on each earpiece. On the face plates, you've got this celluloid material covered in a resin and the Hidizs logo there. It's a pretty attractive IEM. If I were buying one for myself, I would probably go for the blue or the black. Nevertheless, I think that is a very nice looking IEM. In terms of comfort, the shells are great. I can wear these for hours at a time without any discomfort. And by the way, the passive noise isolation on the MD4 is stellar. It is very, very good. Don't try to have a conversation with someone with these in your ears, because they will end up getting frustrated and you'll probably end up looking a bit like an idiot. But now it is time to talk about how these sound. So let's throw up a graph here. Now this is the graph showing all the 4 different tunings or sound styles. They all sound pretty good. There's not a whole lot of difference between them, but there is significant. You can definitely hear the difference. I actually prefer the treble setting, which is quite unusual for me because I generally like a warmer, more laid back, easygoing sound signature, but I love the treble setting on here. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the MD4's general presentation is rather balanced, and it has this spacious, airy character. It sounds very clean from top to bottom with a near neutral note weight and a very black background. As a result, the MD4 is a highly resolving IEM. Furthermore, it has good detail retrieval, so you can expect to hear small nuances that some other earphones might miss. In terms of bass, we've got a fairly typical balanced armature driver sort of bass. It's tight and it's very fast, it's very controlled. It's kind of light in quantity, but it has a natural kind of medium paced attack and decay. As a result, bass notes have an accurate thickness, a lifelike thickness to them. There's no bleeding into the mid-range whatsoever, but this is about as clean as bass gets, while at the same time providing ample warmth and body. The bass has really nice texture and there's good depth to it as well. Like I said, it's kind of subdued in terms of quantity, but it is a very good quality bass. It sounds absolutely lovely. It doesn't sound thin or too fast. It sounds full and meaty, but it's a very clean bass. This IEM is definitely not something for bass heads, but listeners looking for a mature sound will appreciate the tone and control of the bass. The mid-range is really pleasing. It's a nice mix of natural warmth and spacious clarity. Vocals aren't especially upfront or intimate, but they're not recessed either. But they have a good density and articulation. Also absent is the usual large upper mid-range peak that we've seen so many times recently with Harman Curve, Harman tuned IEMs. That is kind of absent here. And as a result, the mid-range doesn't get shouty at all. Even if it doesn't always demand your utmost attention, nonetheless, it's a very pleasing and open mid-range. It's an organic mid-range. It sounds very, very natural, quite accurate in tone, and it's not a real contrasty, vivid mid-range, but it's a more sort of laid-back musical style, which I tend to prefer over a more clinical approach. However, the MD4's mids don't sound colored or oversaturated in the least. In fact, there's really great spacing between vocals and instruments, and that prevents excessive smoothing and enhances the overall resolution. And then there is the treble, and I got to tell you, the treble in itself I think is as impressive as the overall presentation of this IM. It's deliciously smooth, it's really airy, and it's open at the same time, especially with the treble switch setting, which I'm in now. If I can just line them up the right way for you. So this is how they are. The treble setting is with both switches down, which is how I have it set up right now. And normally I would avoid this, but actually it's super, super smooth. There's absolutely no harshness or sharpness in the treble. You can turn the volume right up and you'd never have to worry about sort of splashiness or sizzle or some sharpness. It's just a very, very safe tuning in terms of the treble, but it's a nice, clear, crisp treble. It's fairly detailed. It's not a really energetic one. There's not a lot of sparkle in the high end, but it just sounds very, very sweet. At the same time, the mid-range has got great clarity, so despite the treble being a little bit laid back in its nature, there's no darkness or muddiness anywhere. It's a nice, crisp and clear sound, and it is just a very even, easygoing and safe treble, which I like. Now, in terms of the soundstage is larger than average in dimensions. It is slightly wider than it is deep, but it does have very good forward depth. The stage positioning is kind of neutral, so if you can imagine you're at a concert, and the stage is here, and you've got the band or whatever on the stage here. It sounds as though you are just a few seats back from the front of the stage, so you're not right up close. It's not in your face, and you're not in the back row either. You're not one of those back row peasants in the back of the concert. So because of that nice black background and great instrument separation, the imaging is very good, and you get very precise positioning and imaging within the stage. Alright, so let's do a couple real quick comparisons. The first one I'll do is the Echo OH10, and in terms of sound signature, these two couldn't be more different, to put it bluntly. The OH10 here is a very dynamic IEM. It's got a massive big bass, huge, you know, nice fat meaty mid bass, huge rumbling sub bass. This thing will satisfy the bass heads. And it's also got a fairly lively treble with a little bit of sparkle in it. It's got a nice wide soundstage, which is unusual for such a warm sounding IEM. But the mid-range itself on this is fairly neutral. It's more forward on the Hidizs MD4. It's kind of recessed on the OH10 here, but the OH10 has got a lot more bass. It's got more energy in the treble, but the vocals and the mid-range instruments are sort of pulled back as a result. The OH10 is also quite a heavy IEM in terms of IEMs. This one is really heavy. These shells are composed mainly of brass, so they're pretty hefty, and that might dissuade some users, but they are definitely, unquestionably beautiful, as is the MD4, but in a different manner, different style. And then we've got, another champion, and of course it is a Moondrop IEM. This is the Moondrop Kato, about the same price. And these two are closer in sound signature than the Echo here, but the Kato definitely has a meatier, fuller bass. It's a single dynamic driver IEM where this is all balanced armature, so yeah, you do get that movement of air from the driver in the bass, so it's got a nice sub bass rumble. It's got a bit of impact in the lows as well. In terms of the mid-range, it's actually probably slightly leaner in the mid-range than the MD4, which might sound a bit unusual, but that is the case. In terms of the treble, in typical Moondrop, i.e. Harman fashion, the lower treble is where the emphasis is, and the upper treble is very rolled off, so it's a smooth sounding IEM as well. Kind of similar, I guess, to the MD4 here, but because the MD4's bass is a lot more subdued and laid back, or less quantity of the bass here, it really has a forward mid-range which lets the mids and vocals and instruments really shine and come forward. Very detailed in the mid-range. So if I were to choose, what would I do? You know, these are all three very excellent IEMs. It would be super hard for me to choose the best one, because there isn't really. It would depend on your personal preferences. I find the MD4, well, first of all, it's very versatile. You can switch the sound style to suit the genre of music you're listening to, but I found these really good for rock, good for jazz, maybe not so much for hip-hop or drum and bass, etc., but it's good for EDM or electronic music. These are also good, like if you like a meaty bass with a bit more oomph in the bass and impact, either of these two are going to give you more of that. But if you're looking for a very mature and refined tuning, the Hidizs MD4 it's a really refreshing change from all this Harman bass stuff that we've been seeing with, you know, emphasis on the sub bass and a sort of scooped out upper bass. This is more just balanced across the board, and I think it's actually Hidiz's first attempt at an all-BA IEM, and it just sounds wonderful. It's a lovely sound. If you're looking for bass boom boom, don't look here, but if you're looking for something that's really smooth, really clean, with excellent resolution, pretty good detail, and just a really safe overall tuning, this is a really nice IEM, so check it out. I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, ParFam audiophile style. By the way, if you like this channel or you like this content, you want to show your support, I do have a Patreon account set up, so check that out in the description below. There's also links to my Discord group down there and all my other social media stuff. And yeah, so until next time. Oh, by the way, if you want to see more content like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, what do you think about tuning switches compared to tuning nozzles? What do you think about all BA versus hybrids or single dynamic driver IEMs? And let's leave it at that. So leave a comment down below. And guys, until next time, I'll see you later.